Shortly after Mercedes Williamson was picked up by her ex-boyfriend, Josh Valum, a body is found in the field behind Josh's dad's house.
What did you know at that point?
It was very, very horrific scene because of the mutilation to the head. There was no facial recognition at all.
But when the body goes to the morgue, it is identified as a 17-year-old boy named Michael Wilkins. Investigative reporter Margaret Baker is working for the Mississippi Sun-Herald when her colleague gets the initial story.
As I said, all I'm saying is there was a body, but the body had a bra on.
That is, the body of a boy wearing a bra.
And I'm going, okay, well, something strange here.
Margaret goes back to read her colleague's story, and while looking at the comments, something else strange catches her eye.
And I noticed somebody had said, "Rest in peace, Mercedes." And I'm saying, you know, who's Mercedes?
That's when she realized that Mercedes Williamson and Michael Wilkins were one in the same.
Mercedes was transgender.
How old was Michael when he transitioned to Mercedes?
14.
How did that go?
With us, it went well. His daddy did not accept it at all and disowned him. It hurt him.
But Mercedes' Aunt Kathy also says that she was happy with who she was.
So there was no shame in Mercedes' game?
No. And I asked him, I said, do you feel comfortable? He said, I feel happy. I said, that's all I want to hear.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
But how much did Mercedes' one-time boyfriend and now suspected killer know about any of this?
Josh. It was on June the 2nd, after we discovered Mercedes' body, I get a phone call saying that Josh's father has brought him in and he's turned himself in. And that's when Jonathan Carroll, who's an agent with the task force, and myself conducted the interview with Josh.
We'll let you do all the talking, all right?
I got out of prison last year. During that summer, I met this person. We talked, you know, liked the person a lot. I didn't know that wasn't the person I thought it was.
Josh goes on to say that the two hung out 3 or 4 times a week over several months, though he does not know if he'd call it an actual relationship.
We weren't having sex. You know, there was rules, and all we ever got to do was kiss. I was thinking, all right, well, maybe, you know, she's a virgin, she's trying to hold out.
And Josh says that before he ever found out otherwise, Mercedes ended things completely. Then, that fateful day, months later.
I pulled over, rolled down the window. I was like, what are you doing this evening? She said, nothing. He said, nothing. And I was like, well, now you got plans, get in. And I made my intentions clear. You know, I was horny and I wanted some sex.
And even though Mercedes had, according to Josh, refused that request every time before, he claims there was no argument that day.
Only place that I could think to go to, you know, have sex was my dad's house.
Okay.
So we get there and I drive to the back of the field. We go to kissing, you know. Excuse me a minute.
Take your time.
We were kissing. I was groping, and I felt something that wasn't supposed to be there.
Josh says after that he blacked out, and when he came to,
He was standing over Mercedes with a hammer in his hand.
And I panicked. All that was going through my head at the time was, you know, what the
Then Josh claims he ran back to his car where he found the passenger door open, blood on the interior, and other clues.
My thumb was bleeding. I couldn't find my knife. I know I used a taser because it was laying in my floorboard
Of your vehicle.
But though Josh says the specifics are all a blank, he does admit to trying to conceal his crime afterward.
And I know this makes it look bad on me because I tried to cover it up. It is what it is. I can't change what I did.
Mm-hmm.
If I could, oh God. Yeah. But I went home, I got a shower. I cleaned my car. I put the taser in that hammer in the bags, put all that in my car. I didn't want to leave nothing at Dad's house. I didn't want anybody involved in what I did.
So he took the hammer, but left the body.
He runs to the house. He has blood all over him. His brother sees him, and he tells his brother, you know, for the love of God, just keep your mouth shut. Don't ask no questions. It's bad, it's bad, it's bad.
I just needed him to not say anything.
Thankfully for the people who loved Mercedes, his brother did talk, which is ultimately what led sheriffs to the body and Josh.
I didn't hate that person, though. I liked that person. And that is the way it turned out.
So, did it all happen like Josh said it did? A true crime of passion?
He was trying to claim what's known as transgender panic or penis panic, that he's making out with what he thinks is a female and he feels a penis and he freaks out and conducts the killing.
There was just one problem with that.
You have testimony from her neighbor. What did her neighbor say?
That it was no doubt that Josh knew that, you know, Mercedes was, you know, had, you know, male anatomy, and that that was not a problem with Josh.
In fact, police actually had multiple witnesses claiming they were certain Josh and Mercedes were having sex long before that day.
And this friend said that she could hear them
Yes.
at her home. This was months prior?
Yes, ma'am.
So this throws out the window the claim of him finding out in that moment that he killed her that she was a man.
Yes, that is not true.
So then, what is true? As it turns out, Mercedes wasn't the only one with two identities.
I need to make this clear to y'all. I'm affiliated. You might know that.
And who you affiliated with?
It was a major revelation, Josh Valum himself claiming to be a high-ranking member of the notorious Latin King street gang, though that's about as much as he would say about it.
I got a question for you. Is there anything that you may want to reveal about maybe the Latin King?
No.
Anything?
No. That had nothing to do with this.
Yeah,
it shouldn't affect them whatsoever.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not a traitor.
Just a confessed murderer.
Oh, he confessed easily to the murder itself. And for someone who's murdered somebody, he was very calm, but yet he was very evasive, especially with the gang activity.
And as police were about to learn, that had everything to do with an even bigger secret buried in Josh's phone, one that would blow his claims of any sort of crime of passion out of the water.
On that cell phone told us who the real Josh Valum was.
Coming up,
That was the big case breaker.
you won't believe what police find on that phone. And
She said, Josh, am I being set up?
Josh Valum speaks from behind bars, revealing chilling new details about what really happened.
She said, oh God, Josh, please no.
We have laws.
During the investigation, law enforcement did a search warrant at one of the gang members' homes. At that home, we found a binder with all the bylaws and guidelines that people were to live by.